What if you know that you should probably start a blog, but you're kind of stuck at the place of asking yourself, well, what do I even blog about? Maybe you're a mom who's thinking of building an online business from home and you've been searching for YouTubes and different trainings all over, and you keep hearing from other moms who tell you that blogging is probably the best use of your time, but you're kind of stuck at the place of, well, okay, I get that. Blogging is probably the best use of my time, but I don't have the first clue on where to start and what to even blog about. I totally get that, and that is exactly why I've created this series called Create Your Blog Plan, this series. And today's video is all about what should you blog about. And I'm Michelle Keneally. I'm waving to you from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I welcome you, and I'm glad that you're here because we're going to talk about that. We're going to dive into exposing the fact that most of us probably come into blogging really not knowing where to start either. And I don't think enough people talk about that and say, hey, when they're talking about their success and where they went and how they got there, I think a lot of people forget the parts where they were confused too and they didn't really know where to start either. So I'm glad you're here, and let's dive in. Like I said, the truth is most of us come into the world of blogging maybe having a little bit of an idea, but not really having an idea. And we end up going somewhere else completely from where we actually started. And that's the piece of the puzzle I think a lot of people don't hear. And especially for us women, I think we have to have it all together in order to start anything. And that's not true. Not true at all. I mean, I'm here to tell you right now that this video series is really documenting my own journey and holding myself accountable to you for my progress and what I'm going to do in my own business. So if you're looking for someone who's been a seasoned blogger for years and years and years, this series is definitely not for you. I'm here to be an example and show you what it looks like to do it scared. Do it anyway, even if you're afraid and failing and you know all that comes with that. I'm just doing it publicly in front of everyone. So this video is good on its own. You don't have to see the first video in order to continue forward with these lessons. But if you want to find the series, you can go ahead and find the description here in the video where it'll take you back through all of the different videos that have already been put together for this series. And hopefully it's encouraging to that one person out there in the world who's sitting there thinking that they have to have it all together. And I'm here to tell you that you don't. So if you're looking for somebody who has it all together, you might want to find another person, another video, because I'm not going to pretend that I do, but I am going to show you exactly the process that it's going to take, that I know it's going to take for me to, hit the numbers that I want to hit, to provide the freedom that I want to have within my own family. So hopefully you following along in my journey and the things that I've already learned really helps you to see that you can do it too. Because I think that not enough of us hear that. I think that it's intimidating when you see someone who's already achieved all of their goals, and you don't get to see the parts where they had to really dig deep and they had to find themselves. And so today's lesson is going to help you to figure exactly what that is for you. We're going to start this lesson with an exercise. And if you're driving your car and listening to this, or if you have your earbuds in while you're rocking the baby to sleep, just listen through it and then come back to it later when you have time to sit down and really think about it. Or if you're like me and you don't have time to sit down and think about much, use that note app on your phone where you can, write down your thoughts. I'm telling you, that note app has saved me so much. So anyway, that's sidetrack. So today's lesson starts with the letter N for niche. Have you seen this word before? How do you say it? Niche? So tell me how you say this, because I'm just going to say niche, partially because I feel fancy when I say niche, but also I just like the sound of niche. So we're going to find your niche, and this is going to help you determine what to blog about. N-I-C-H-E. And here's a little secret. In order for me to figure out how to record this video and have these words show up for you that says niche, I had to write the word niche backwards. So high five to me for my backward writing skills. So even if you have partial, like a somewhat of an idea about what you want to blog about, this exercise is going to help you too, okay? But if you're almost there, if you're like, yeah, I think I know what I want to blog about, this exercise is going to help you to like get really solid in that idea. But I just want you to also know in the back of your mind that even if you know, and with 100% no doubt in your mind, it might change. It might change. And I want you to be okay with that. Today we're going to go over what a niche is, why a niche is important, how to figure out what your niche is going to be, and ultimately, then what you should be blogging about. So before you begin, I really want you to really take in that there is no one way to get from point A to point B. Okay, there's a lot of gray area, especially when you're building an online business. It's got to be customized to you and what works for you. So for anyone who's out there looking for a magic formula, I'm here to tell you that magic formula, that secret potion, that secret weapon, it's all inside of you. So these exercises are going to help you figure out what your point A to your point B is. Because you can actually create a blog in many different ways. Some people do blog with a very narrow niche, some blog with a very broad niche, and some blog with no niche at all. So even if you don't exactly figure out what your niche is, you're going to figure it out eventually, and knowing what your niche is actually going to help you to progress your business quicker. And we're going to go over that and how that and why that is, okay? But what I want to stress to you right now, Mama, is that what's important right now is to acknowledge what your strengths and what your weaknesses are. I want you to really get, in touch with that. And I want you to really understand that you're starting something new and you're going to get better. And a few months from now, you're going to be able to tell someone else who's starting new that they're starting new and that they're going to get better. Okay? So I just really want you to know that, and the only way you can get better is to start and to go through these steps. And once you've gone through these steps, you're going to figure out exactly what you're about. And then even then it'll change. I mean, there's so many gray areas in this situation. So for any of you that want the black and white answers, that need to know the exact formula for success, or you're not even willing to invest your time, I'm going to tell you right now, there isn't one. And if that breaks your heart, I'm sorry, but I hope that you can come to terms with that and maybe celebrate it a little bit and tell yourself that, you know what? This is great. This is so great. That means that no matter what I do, I can't really screw it up. Because figuring out what your strengths and your weaknesses are is going to help you to devise your very own strategy. And when you create that strategy for your business, then it's up to you to stick to it. Okay? Because you're your own boss, remember? And being your own boss means that you're in charge of you. No one else is in charge of you. And sometimes that can be a challenge in itself. So that's why these videos and getting into, groups with like-minded people who are also trying to do the same thing you're doing is really helpful to keep you on track, especially for us moms. I mean, everyone comes towards us wanting all of the things, and we tend to put ourselves last. And so I just wanted to create that space and talk about it. At the end of the day, what's really important is that you create a plan, you show up consistently for said plan, that you're authentic, and that you don't give up. That's the magic formula, okay? All the rest is kind of a gray area for you to figure out, and you will. You will figure it out if you take the steps. And the first step to figuring out what you should blog about is to figure out what your motivation is. So here's where I want you to take out that pad and paper and to start to answer the questions that I'm going to present to you. If you're just listening to this video for the very first time, maybe you just want to allow yourself to think about these questions and process them a little bit. Come back to the video again and go through the exercise again. Find where I start the questions and then start to work through these questions and ask yourself, what are the answers? So the first question is, do you want to generate an income? My guess is most of you probably do, but there's a lot of people out there that really are looking for a creative outlet. So if you're not interested in blogging just to have an income, I don't want you to feel like you should feel that way, okay? The next question is, do you want to teach others? Do you want to do that? Okay. Don't write down what you would want to teach them. Do you or don't you want to teach others? Okay. Do you want to use your creativity? So think about, where is my motivation? This is where the questions are coming from. Okay. This is the focus of these questions. Do you want to create a social outlet with your blog? Or do you want to build a community? Okay. So even if you're not sure what you want to blog about, knowing what your motivation is actually going to help you to come to your process and why you're doing what you're doing. So right now, what I would do in your notebook is I would write down, I'm motivated to start a blog because of I want to. Okay. So write that out and just don't worry about if the answer is right or wrong, because it doesn't matter. It's important to choose something you love, okay? So answer the questions based on your real honest answers. I know it sounds cliche to choose something that you're passionate about, but when you choose to blog about something that you know and you love, you're more likely to put the time and effort into your blog to make it successful if you actually love it. So as you're combining your life and your blog, you want to align yourself with a topic that blends in with your life because you're less likely to run out of ideas to write about, and you will create a following of people who relate to you. So don't choose something that isn't really a part of who you are. If you're choosing a topic just because you think it will make money, you won't come across as authentically you. And honestly, you are what makes your blog work. Remember we talked about how you can go from A to B based on you, not what somebody else has already done. Maybe you follow somebody else's magical path that they took, but that doesn't mean that's going to help you. So what if money is your only motivation? Let's just address the elephant in the room, shall we? If generating a substantial income with a blog is difficult. It's not something that is super easy. And I hope that you know that if this is a venture that you're going into, that you know that creating a blog and a business is going to actually take a lot of consistent effort. Okay. And if you don't get that instant gratification right when you start your blog, it's going to be really hard to keep going if you don't love what you're doing. So let's cut to the chase. If your motivation is because you want to make money online quickly, the easiest way to do so is to offer a service or a course in return for a fee. Okay. So number one, you know things. You know things, girl, and you have a skill that is actually marketable even if you think you don't. We're going to go through this and we're going to find out what it is, because your knowledge and your experience and your willingness to share them is what gives you the opportunity to offer a service in exchange for money, okay? Number three, your blog should be centered around that idea of your service, your product, or your course if you're trying to make money quickly. Okay. But with all of that said, I believe, and I stand behind this, you must actually like what you're doing. Here's the thing. You can always change what you blog about. And I believe that you should just start writing what's on your heart and explore your ideas so that you can actually get a feel for what you like. And many people start something with one intention only to find themselves gravitating towards something totally different or more specific to where they began. And I want you to honor that, my friend. You will find your voice as you go, and you may feel like you're abandoning your original idea of your blog that you started in the very, very beginning, and that starting a new one is a huge waste. But here's the thing, it's not. Each path you go on actually will lead you to where you're meant to be. So don't be afraid of starting somewhere and ending up somewhere somewhere else. And I don't mean to get shiny object syndrome and to start chasing all of the things. I mean that sticking with a blog when you've lost your passion for it is a huge waste of your potential. You shouldn't be afraid to make a change if you realize that the path you initially went down isn't the path you were truly meant to take. And a lot of people will not tell you that, okay? So even if you're not sure what to blog about, just start blogging anyway, because you will find the direction that you are meant to go. And once we understand your motivation, now we can get into exactly what is a niche, okay? A niche is pretty much a category or a focus on a certain topic or an expertise. And while it's possible to start a blog about many different topics, over time, I recommend figuring out what you love and then focusing on just a couple topics that you're really into. So why does any of this matter? Well, it's because most people search the internet for one thing only, to solve a problem. And when you blog, you become a problem solver for your reader. Your reader finds you by searching Google or Pinterest most of the time. And by becoming a problem solver, you actually become a trusted expert. So when you combine your interests and what you actually care about and love, then it's really easy to hear your authentic voice because your personality will naturally come out because you're going to be really, animated about it. And even if you're not a super animated person like me, there's a lot of people that probably are not, but your authentic voice will come across to your readers, and that's going to leave them wanting to know more about what it is you can do to help them. Okay, because they're going to feel that from you. And what you really want to strive for here is, especially in the online world, is you want to be able to come across as authentic and that your interest is, actually there to help them. Because at the end of the day, your readers care about what can you do for them. And so if you can help your reader, and you come across as somebody who is truly interested in helping your reader, they're going to search for more ways that they can get their problem solved by you. And if you have a narrow, niche of topics that you talk about, and it's very easy to understand what your reader can find out from you or what it's like to be around you or why they would even want to be around you, then it's going to be very clear for your reader as far as if this person can solve my problems, I want to find out way more about what else it is that they talk about or what else it is that they help people with. And they're going to search for more things. They're going to get excited and they're going to, really want to read what you write or find out if you create videos or courses or what it is you recommend, and they're going to really trust you. But if you create a blog that is about one topic that does help them and they really love it, and they go to search and find out what else it is that you talk about, but it's not even close to what they initially found you for and the whole reason that they found you, they're not going to search any further. They're going to go, oh, okay, well, never mind. I was hoping that, kind of hoping that she could really teach me how to make macaroons and, all the types of macaroons. I was hoping she could show me how to do the chocolate dipped macaroons and the French macaroons. And oh well, I guess she only talked about macaroons once, and now she's talking about budgeting. So I'm not interested in that. If your reader finds you because they found your macaroon recipe or a video that you made and some type of a lesson that you created where you taught them how to make macaroons, and then you start talking about how to save money, they're going to be really confused. They're going to be like, oh, so she's the money saving macaroon maker. That's interesting, but I really just want to perfect my macaroon recipe, and I really liked this one post that she created. I'm totally confused. And you guys, guess what? A confused mind does nothing, okay? And now I have seen other bloggers out there who do blog about many different topics, and they're fine. Some of them have created enough of a following that they can kind of go all over the place. But their topics are pretty closely related, okay? So especially when you're first starting out, choosing exactly what you're going to talk about and how you're going to help people makes it very clear for not only yourself, but for your reader. Because, we have enough going on our plate as it is that we don't need to be the expert in all of the things. We just don't. I mean, you can leave that for home. You are the expert of how to clean your dishes, how to get the stains out, how to, grocery shop with 3 kids running around the store. I mean, you can be the expert in all of those different topics at home, but when you're creating your blog online, they don't know you. They don't know you, and they need to get to know you. So you want to be clear, very clearly defined on your topic, and it's really important you like talking about it, or you're just not going to talk about it. So if you're clear about what you're going to offer help with for a particular reader, then you will be more likely to be followed. And here's a hint. Google really likes it when they know exactly what you're about. And Google really loves helping their readers too. So if Google knows exactly what you're about, Google will actually show your readers what you wrote. That's what you want, because Google only wants to bring out the good stuff for their readers, okay? So remember how we talked about Google? Google is the one that brings the answers to their users, correct? You're the one that goes to Google and says, how do you make a French macaroon? Google knows that their readers want to solve a problem, to learn a new skill, to reach a goal, to possibly be entertained, to overcome their fears. And Google is like that little bike messenger that is willing to bring you your items as quickly as they can, knowing that if you don't like what they brought you, you won't use their service again, right? Google wants to find the top answers to the questions that their users plug in. And they don't have time to search and search. As we know, we are bombarded by so many things out there. So if you provide Google with the clues that they need to give the best answers to their users, then your articles will get chosen by Google to be shown as a solution to their users' questions. And this is why having a niche or an expertise is so important. So based on this knowledge, what can you do with what you already know, love, and do in your life that you can help the readers of Google and Pinterest with? Get your notebook out, write it out, okay? So I want you to follow this exercise. I want you to start by making a list of topics that you're actually interested in blogging about. Write down a few topics that you want to write about on a piece of paper, and don't really spend too much time thinking about it, okay? Just let it flow. Even if you're not a writer, I hope that you understand that you can become a writer. Just write down 10 to 15 things that come to mind. And then I want you to think about what expertise you may have, okay? And do your friends ever come to you for a specific advice on a topic? Or is there anything or something or, many things that you just love talking about all of the time? I want you just to write all of those ideas down. And when you're doing this, don't think about whether or not these topics will make you any money. Now, you may have to go through this video multiple times to really get the most out of it. So again, I always recommend listening through and then coming back and repeating this exercise until you really get it. It might take you some time. So after you've written down your list of possible ideas that things you like talking about, things you love, I want you to go over that list and try to pick the topics that you actually know something about. Just something. You don't have to be an absolute expert in the topic. You just have to have some idea as a starting point and actually have a genuine interest in it. Most bloggers do research, so you should have some knowledge of these topics, but you can become an expert because as a blogger, you will be doing research. Trust me, lots and lots of research. If you're thinking about this list that you're creating based on the success that the topic is going to bring you, what I want you to understand is that you will find success based on your energy that you bring, how much you help people, the commitment you make to your blog, and your consistent effort. Okay? So let yourself free flow write out what you actually like. Okay? Don't think about it in the terms of, is this going to be making me money? Does anybody really care about it? If you're an expert macaroon maker, guess what? There is someone out there that is looking for your help. So next, I want you to take a look at your list of possible topics, okay? And so let's see if you can find any commonalities between any of these topics, all right? So maybe you like yoga, but you're obsessed with cooking amazing vegan food that is kid approved, okay? That's awesome. If you are a person out there that loves yoga, but you're obsessed with cooking amazing vegan food that is kid approved, there's probably a niche for that. Your niche should actually combine something you love, something you're super into, something that incorporates well into your real life, a topic that you have a unique spin on, okay? And a topic you can see yourself writing about for years. Your niche should also combine a strength that you have. So I want you to have a think. Here are 5 questions I want you to go through and think to yourself about yourself. Number 1, have you reached a goal that other people want to achieve? Say like making macaroons. Number 2, do you have a skill that you can teach others? Maybe making chocolate dipped macaroons. Number 3, do you like to make people laugh? You don't have to be funny in order to blog, but think about these things about yourself. I'm just trying to draw, little pieces of yourself out so you can write this out. Okay? Number 4, do you have a heart for a cause? All right? Or number 5, are you learning something that you could journal? Could you bring somebody on a journey with you? Okay? Brainstorm a little further past these questions, these questions that I've given you. Think a little bit more. Have you had an experience that maybe you have a twist on that you could really help someone? Or is there something in your life that you wish someone had told you? Or if you had an experience that shaped your life or changed who you are, do you have a heart for people who've gone through the same situation? People find blogs for many reasons. It could be to get help starting their own journey on something, to learn a new skill, easing some fears, or to be entertained. Think about some blogs that maybe you've come across and how they serve the different parts of your life. And I want you to look over your list to see where the intersection of your passion combined with your skills comes together to fulfill a need for people. That is your niche. So let's take a visual on this. If you combine your interests with your knowledge and add what your readers need, there in the center, you have your niche. So think of it as an intersection of all of your interests combined with your skills and how you can help your readers. I want you just to really look at this visual if you're a visual learner to kind of grasp what is this niche that we're searching for. The all elusive niche is hiding in the center of all of those things combined. Now, absolutely, we need to validate your idea, okay? So once you've gotten this list written out and you've really worked on it, you've got to understand that there are going to be some niches that are more profitable than others. But I don't want you to cloud your mind with that, because you can start a blog in practically any niche and be profitable if you know how to reach your audience. So here's the next exercise. We're going to go over 4 ways to validate your idea, okay? This is going to help you to figure out if you're on the right path. One of my most favorite ways to validate an idea is to actually search book titles. So you can literally go to Amazon or any online bookstore and check out titles of books that have been written on your topic. And if there's been a book written on it, then there is an audience for your niche. The second way I like to search for validation in an idea is to search Pinterest or YouTube to see if anyone is talking about it. So check out the buzz and how they approach the topics, and really allow that to encourage you to pursue your idea. So you for sure don't want to copy anyone, because you're not going to feel authentic, and honestly, it's just not right. If you go out there and try to be somebody else, it's not ethical. But use that as, a way to validate your idea, and maybe even try to think of a different way you can put your perspective on a topic. So the third way to validate your idea is to check out social media. So search in Facebook. That you can search in Facebook for groups that are associated with your topic. Obviously, not all of them are going to come up, because Facebook isn't really set up to be a search engine. They're based on an algorithm and your interests. And once you plug in something you're interested in, Facebook is going to start to populate more of those interests for you, because they're searching for them. I guess it's a little bit like Google, but it does it in a different way. It does it more in an algorithm style, okay? So once you find these groups, you can even join some, right? And join them with the intention of reading the posts and the comments in search of how you can find a need that you can fulfill. Not to be a spammer, not to, take over and try to, be disrespectful to the person who's created the group, but just to be more of a researcher. So number 4, if you're not finding your topic, I want you to ask yourself if you could combine it with a bigger umbrella topic. Like if you're talking about, making seed art, could you combine that with a broader topic? Say you talk about art that's made from items from nature that can have maybe a subtopic, and you can, talk about art made from nature, and then, your seed art can be a different one of the elements of what your blog talks about, right? So let's say that you are a macaroon maker, okay? But not only do you do French macaroons, but maybe you also make rosettes. And so your topic might be that you make, very, I don't know I don't make these cookies, so I don't know, but maybe you're someone who makes different types of cookies that are hard. I know there's got to be a better name for that. Somebody, please don't get mad at me for not knowing what that name is, but maybe you're someone who is an expert in teaching someone how to do something that is a challenge. So like maybe you're someone who does like krumkaka and macaroons and rosettes, and I know they're all different from all different regions, but you kind of get the idea, right? I hope. So you're more likely to keep your focus if you choose a niche that is small enough so that it's not overwhelming, but broad enough so that enough people will find something of interest in your blog. You want to make sure that you have enough things to talk about said topic. So by having this, you're actually going to attract readers to you. And you can learn more about how you can help people and what topics to cover when you have more people interested in what you're talking about. And you'll actually increase your profitability when you know what to create as an offer. Okay? So by knowing exactly what your focus is of your blog, you will then be able to monetize your blog because you will know what people need and you can then create it. So what if you still feel stuck? Honestly, a lot of us feel stuck, even if we know our topic. You know, doubt starts to creep in, and it can really do some damage as we start doubting ourselves, and it can come in quickly. Doubt comes in so quickly. So if you're feeling stuck and lost, I just suggest trying on a few topics and write about them. Okay? Just look at your list, write out some, blog posts or just something that you might want to say about whatever topic is on your list and see how it feels. Did you like writing about that? Did it inspire you to think of other topics around what you wrote? So if you're feeling stuck, the best thing to do is just to start to move in a direction of anything on your list and just try them on. And if you're not a natural writer, one of the things you can do is to record yourself talking about something. You can even just use your cell phone to take a video of yourself talking about a topic and then watch yourself talking about that topic and turn around and write out an outline about what you talked about in the video, and then really break it down even further into how could I take what I said in the video and put that into words. Okay, so if you're really just stuck on it and you do much better with just talking, take a video of yourself and then take what you did in the video and transform that into something you can write. Honestly, the more you explore your topics that you've written down in the different ways that you can find out how you can help someone else, that's where you're going to really begin to unravel what you need to be blogging about. Okay, so the idea is that you're going to help people. It's not about you. It's for the reader that is coming across your posts, and you are just simply taking what you know or what you're interested in becoming an expert in and doing the research on for your readers. That's going to make the difference. So be really open-minded when you look at your list. Understand that you might pivot, and that's completely normal and totally okay, and be open to that. So if you start talking about seed art and you realize that you actually want to talk about, maybe you want to go into wool, and you are talking about, exploring art made from nature, and then that takes you down the path of learning, what the origin of, how people started to even make sweaters using wool or whatever that topic might end up being. I'm not sure that that's super helpful, but it might be really interesting and entertaining for people who are into, like knitting. Or maybe you're someone who is, you're starting off talking about living gluten-free with your kids. Your kids start to grow up, and so you can then progress your blog along with your life and with your kids as you do more with gluten-free recipes. And you're going to have this library of all these different topics that range from gluten-free kids to gluten-free teenagers to gluten-free, young adults that go off on their own, or even have as you're gluten-free and you're traveling, whatever that might look like. You can evolve even as you start your blog. It could start at one point, and then you could learn more and become an expert in more things, and then evolve and let the topic, take a path that you didn't know when you first started that it would take. thought I paused the video. Okay, back on track. So just allow yourself to become who you are meant to be as you develop your blogging career. And I hope that these lessons really help you to do that and allow you to just ask yourself the questions and to become a little scientist as far as, what's in you that you could bring out and really help others with, or what is a topic that you want to explore more of and report back to others on what you're learning. What lights you up inside. I just really hate using the word passionate, but if you're not interested in what you're talking about or what your blog is about, it's going to be really hard to stick with it. You're going to put it off, just like you do with, not putting laundry away. I mean, we're all really good at folding it, but the art of putting it away is lost on me. Anybody else? So thank you for tuning into this video. I hope you found it helpful, and we'll see you on the next one.